Hey guys, Jim here reporting from the Swedish Bricks List and my garage. We're going to talk about strut mounts today for the Volvo 240 series. The originals from Volvo were known to last for about 30 years perhaps, until finally breaking, but there's a lot of issues and concerns right now with these strut mounts as to whether they're as good as the original, particularly what you get from Volvo and of course aftermarket. So I've got 9 different strut mounts here today. We're going to start by talking about their construction a little bit and then get into the different mounts. So this one, for example, you can see it has a bearing there. That's what your actual strut mounts into. There's this rubber donut on the outside, mounts on studs. This is the upright position. You can see the bearing all the way through there. And that attaches with a 24mm nut. Now, original Volvo, and I can put some pictures at the end of this video, has Volvo cast right into the rubber, and that would be what the 240 came with originally. This is what passes for original Volvo now. This came from FCP Groton. It came in a plain plastic bag. It had 3 nuts with it. It has a 6300 series bearing in here, made by SMQ. Nobody knows who that is. 6300 series bearings versus some of these with 6200 series, they just have a little bit higher load rating. But this original Volvo came from FCP, and I confirmed with them it is what Volvo sells. It comes with no part number, nothing indicating that it's Volvo, and absolutely no box or anything like we're used to for having quote-unquote blue box parts. It's a fairly decent construction mount, but again, people have been saying on various online sources that these don't really hold up very well. I emailed Volvo to find out the supplier, and they said that it was, quote, made in Sweden. However, their part sources are constantly varying. Well, it just so happens that I identified what mount it actually is. It's actually what comes in a Mevotech box. You open Mevotech box up. The bag says MS, I'm not sure what that stands for. It is the exact same bearing right down to the numbering on the studs. Exactly the same and less than half the price. And just so you don't think that FCP is trying to pass off some sort of aftermarket thing as original Volvo, my friend Bram in the Netherlands, who has a shop there, he confirms that mounts do come this way from Volvo there as well. Another strut mount that I looked at, now that you know that what original Volvo is, I looked at the Auto Part International, the AIP one. This is actually a fairly decent mount as well. It also has a 6300 series bearing. It's almost the same as the other one, except the studs don't have little numbers on it. That one's about 30 bucks. That one would probably be just as good as any of those. This is a Westar. Westar, I don't know where they actually source things, but it's very similar, except this has a 6200 series bearing, which you can see that the sleeve is a little bit different, a little lighter duty, has a different number of actual ball bearings in it. And I bought a second one in a private label box, and that was exactly the same as well. Moving to the back here, we've got Monroe. Monroe is purported to be an excellent strut mount. It's made in Taiwan. All the ones I've shown you so far are made in Taiwan, I believe, including the AIP, except for the Volvo, which doesn't list anything, no labeling or anything. This Monroe strut mount also has a 6300 series bearing. It's very similar to the quote original Volvo and the Mevotech, and everyone purports that this is a fairly decent bearing as well. Coming up next, I'm going to do 2 together. We have the Moog and the KYB. These are exactly the same. They are precisely the same from the bearing manufacturer, the little defects. Extremely similar to quote original Volvo and Mevotech, except the studs aren't numbered. This appears to be a pretty high quality bearing. No reason to buy the Moog at $80 when you can buy the KYB for $40. I got those from Rock Auto. Moving over to another selection I got from FCP that you often find. This is the Mile. Mile says Mile Germany on it. Don't confuse that with being made in Germany. If you look at the box, this is actually made in Thailand. I've had pretty good success with these. They're cheap enough. They're about 33 bucks a piece or so. It's fairly decent. I don't know if it's quite as good as the others. You see this crimped construction to hold the bearing here. I think the other ones that don't have that are slightly better, but that's pretty hard to verify. Last but not least, well, yeah, it's least, I have Euro. This Euro mount cost about 15 bucks. It arrived from Rock Auto damaged, as you can see here. I don't think that's their fault. I think it actually came from the factory that way. This is as low quality as you can get. It has a 6200 series bearing. All these bearings are no name. This one is also, I believe, made in, I believe it lists a country of origin. But it's a pretty low quality strut mount that everybody seems to complain about. For my money, the Auto Part International here, the KYB or Moog would be fine. The Monroe is a little bit scarcer to get, a little bit more expensive. They're about $60 a piece, plus shipping and handling and all that. Zero reason to buy a genuine Volvo. Navatech is actually pretty promising. If anybody knows what MS is for manufacturer, I don't think that's actually Navatech. I think that's actually another manufacturer. There's other strut mounts available. There's 1A Auto, which I have no idea what that is. There's MTC, which I haven't seen in a while. But there's others out there. So again, for my bet and my money, you go with Mile and reliably probably get 40,000 miles out of it. You could do KYB or the Moog, preferably the KYB because it's a lot cheaper and the exact same thing. Monroe, if you can find it. There's the part number there. But zero reason to buy the genuine Volvo because you can do a lot better elsewhere, unless it's made to some particularly different spec, but online reviews wouldn't indicate that. They wear out a lot more quickly than the original ones did that actually came in the vehicles. So anyway, that's my summary. I hope it's useful to you guys, and I'll talk to you later.